Hello, welcome to Inside Politics, here in Seoul, Republic of Korea. My name is Anastasiya Lavrina and now I'm joined by a very distinguished guest. Ambassador Lee Eun-young, who is a former ambassador of the Republic of Korea to Azerbaijan. Your Excellency, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador, for your time. Thank you for this opportunity to have an interview about bilateral relations between our two countries, Azerbaijan and Korea, and also perspectives and opportunities. Azerbaijan and South Korea indeed have been steadily strengthening their economic partnership and also security cooperation. So let me start with a basic question. How do you assess the significance of this relationship in today's shifting geopolitical landscape?
Yes, South Korea and Azerbaijan have established their diplomatic relationship more than 30 years ago, and our bilateral relations has developed since 20 years ago. At the time, two presidents from South Korea, 2006, 2007, President Ilham Aliyev visited South Korea. So this kind of the visit of the top leader has pushed our bilateral relations go forward. Since then, in various fields, our relations has developed steadily. And it has passed almost 20 years since this kind of important moment. So it's time to renew our relations. Because since then, Azerbaijan's economy has tripled or more than tripled, and Korea's economy also developed much further. So we need another momentum for this. I think it's time for President Ilham Aliyev's visit to Korea is very important.
Well, indeed, Ambassador, there are a lot of perspectives, as you are saying, but more specifically, in your view, what are the most strategic areas of cooperation today between the Republic of Azerbaijan and the Republic of Korea?
I will count four sectors. First, education. Second, R&D cooperation. Third, SMEs, small and medium enterprises, especially startups. And fourth, smart farms. So first, the education is most important because right now, Korean University Inha and Azerbaijan Baku Engineering University have an exchange program. Every year, 200 students, each countries, and they get double degrees. So this kind of talented young student can be good resources for our future. And also many talented Azerbaijan students are studying in top Korean universities like the KAIST or Seoul National Universities. This human resource can play a great role in our bilateral relations in the near future. Secondly, in R&D sectors, for example, in South Korea, we have Samsung companies, as you know. Their headquarters is located in Suwon City, and Suwon City is developing a free economic zone focused on IT, BT, AI R&D center. I know that in Azerbaijan, Alat free economic zone, also they have this kind of facilities. So in R&D sectors, if the two free economic zone cooperate in these areas, it will make some great boost for the cooperation between two countries.
Well, Ambassador, you're absolutely right. We also know that today Azerbaijan has positioned itself as a key connectivity hub between the Asia and Europe. This position is indeed very valuable within the last years, and especially now when we see the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the conflict in the Middle East. So Azerbaijan is indeed very reliable partner, trust partner for many countries in the world. So how is the role of Azerbaijan is being perceived here in the Seoul, in the South Korea, particularly within the framework of cooperation between Asia and Europe?
So, as you mentioned, Azerbaijan is becoming more and more important countries in South Caucasus, and traditionally, Azerbaijan had the diplomatic relations with Russia and European countries. And nowadays, Azerbaijan are looking for the East. For example, Azerbaijan's diplomacy for the Central Asian countries, 5 Central Asian countries is becoming more and more important. On the contrary, South Korea's policy was focused on the relations with the United States and Japan, and also economic relations with China. And also we had good relations with Europe and Asian countries. And also now South Korea looking to Central Asian countries, 5 Central Asian countries' relations with China, South Korea is becoming more and more important. So we have some thing common in Central Asia. We can meet in Central Asia. So South Korea have already formed cooperation format with Central Asia 5 countries. So maybe we can extend this kind of format, South Korea, Azerbaijan, plus 5 Central Asian countries. That I think can be happen second half of this year in Korea.
That looks similar to what we see between of China, Central Asia, Azerbaijan, South Caucasus, Turkey, and Europe. I'm speaking now about the Middle Corridor, which is indeed a valuable part of the China's Belt and Road Initiative. So from your understanding of the situation, we can also expect the fostering of cooperation between South Korea, Central Asia, and Azerbaijan, and maybe further to Europe, right?
Yes, that's right. So after the 2020, there are more possibility that in South Caucasus we can have seamless travel from Azerbaijan up to Turkey and Europe. So this kind of advantage can help us to get closer more and more.
Well, Ambassador, if I'm not mistaken, you've been appointed as an ambassador to Azerbaijan in 2022. But in 2020 year, it was a very important time for Azerbaijan, historic victory and liberation of Azerbaijani territories which were under Armenian occupation for almost 3 decades, and intensive restoration which started immediately after. In 2023, we also restored the sovereignty. It was a time when you already been an ambassador to Azerbaijan. How that victory was perceived here in the Seoul, and what kind of opportunities it opened for the bilateral cooperation?
First, I think it's time for the South Caucasus that left behind the dispute of past and look bright to future. So in this process, I believe Azerbaijan can play important role, because Azerbaijan is a leading country in South Caucasus, and Azerbaijan have a willingness to play as a key players for the co-prosperity in South Caucasus. So I think it's time for the future, bright future of the South Caucasus.
So speaking about the possibilities, does it mean that in 2020, when Azerbaijan restored its territorial integrity, it was perceived as a new opportunities here in the Seoul, right?
We think in this kind of the past history, it's very complicated. So for the point of diplomat, we prefer to look forward for the future, not looking behind.
Coming from a country that has lived with a division for decades, if I'm not mistaken, the conflict here in your region, it lasts over the 70 years. How does the South Korea interpret the post-conflict realities in the South Caucasus? Specifically now, I'm speaking about the potential for partnership in the post-conflict recovery and development.
Yes, as an ambassador of Korea to Azerbaijan, I have witnessed this process until the end of 2024. So I know the restoring process, rehabilitation of the recovered territories. So it is very important to have a rehabilitation of the devastated infrastructure in this region, and also returning of the IDPs. So in that process, already Korea have played not small but important role for the infrastructure. For example, you may know, as you Azerbaijan people, Kagrid system. That is the traditional water supply system. KOICA have provided $5 million to restore this kind of Kagrid system in the Karabakh. So this kind of cooperation to help the reinstallation of the IDPs is very important, and Korea will do that kind of role very actively.
Very interesting. Ambassador, as I already said previously, more than 70 years after the Korean War, the peninsula remains divided. From your diplomatic perspective, taking into account your broad experience of work, why has lasting peace proven so difficult to achieve?
There are many reasons, but I will choose only three main reasons. First, geopolitical reason. Second, there is system differences. Third, economic size. First, as you may know, Korean Peninsula is situated between Russia, China, and Japan in the south, Japan and United States. This peninsula can have the important role in the geopolitical between the big four countries. Because of that, they have made some kind of a buffer zone after the World War II. So this continued until now, and in between, in 1950, we had the Civil War also, Korean War. And after that, this kind of division continues 70 years. That's the first reason, geopolitical reason. Secondly, South Korea and North Korea choose different system. South Korea chose the liberal democrat, North Korea chose communist. Still, North Korea is one of the last dinosaur of the communist country in the world. And on the contrary, South Korea has developed a democratic system. There was ups and downs, as you saw. There was some kind of the emergency 2 years ago, and because of the former president is in prison with his wife, something like that. But South Korea has some resilience to return to the democracy, so we recovered very quickly, and now we got normalized and democracy. So this kind of the difference of system made the differences. Another important factor is the economy. Korea has adopted the open market system, and North Korea has a socialist communist system. And until 70s, we have competed. Until early 70s, even North Korea was almost equal economically to South Korea. But from the mid 70s, the gap between South and North became great. And now our GDP is 20 times bigger than North Korea. So because of that, North Korea may have some pride against South Korea, so they don't want to have good relations with us. That made major difficulties between our relations, two nations' relations.
Absolutely, very clear explanation. And one more question, if I may. Despite the fact that this situation is lasting so long, many decades, and as you rightly pointed out, in 1950s you had a civil war, and still this question is not resolved, there is still on the agenda. The South Korea transformation from a war-torn country into one of the leading global economy is very impressive. So what are the unique success of your country? What were the key factors behind this transformation?
This also, there are many reasons, but I will choose only two most important factors. First one, leadership. Second one, educated people. First, we had the leaders who dedicated their life for the economic development of our country. So they put economy on the top priority. So we focused on the economic development other than other things. Secondly, the families, Korean families, invested almost all their assets to the education of their children. So we had very well-educated young people who can support our developing economies. That combined factors made our economy grow faster than other regions. I think this is similar to the Azerbaijan. Since the 1990s, Azerbaijan had made remarkable economic development. I think that was made by the leader and the talented young people. That's almost the same thing that happened in South Korea and in Azerbaijan.
Very interesting element you provided here. It's like Azerbaijan also had experience of war with neighboring Armenia, and the conflict was not resolved for about 3 decades, but still, even during that period of time, Azerbaijan achieved a significant economic progress. And luckily now, two countries, Armenia and Azerbaijan, working towards the establishment of lasting peace in the region, and we hope also to see peaceful development in the Korean peninsula in the upcoming soon. So Ambassador, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining Inside Politics today. It was a real honor for us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I would like to remind our viewers that today we had a special guest within Inside Politics, Ambassador Lee Eun-young, who is a former ambassador of the Republic of Korea to the Republic of Azerbaijan. Stay with A News, and I see you next time.